Hey y'all, welcome to Girl Meets Green. My name's Norma, your host or whatever. And yeah, you're looking at this intro because I originally made this video to be part of the last video that went up for Married at First Sight. But then I realized lately I've been watching them week to week anyways. So episodes 9 through 11 I watched as a bunch. But then by the time I filmed, edited, 12 was out. So I was like, all right, let me just add 12. And then of course, I guess I didn't realize they come out, Friday? Thursday? Whatever. 13 came out. So at this point, I'm literally watching them and reviewing them. So I was like, girl, you might as well start watching them weekly and posting them weekly. So that's what we're going back to here. Sorry if that's throwing anybody off or confusing anybody. I'm just going to go week to week with it. It's easier than remembering details of 3 episodes and then editing 30 minutes, 40, 50 minutes of footage. So let's jump right into the review. We'll start with Austin and Becca. They're going through the whole Becca wants to have sex, Austin doesn't, so Becca's feeling undesired. He's saying, no, I do desire her, I just move slower. They're talking to Pia, whatever the therapist's name is, the psychiatrist. But they're talking to her. She's trying to figure out, she's like, what's going on? What is it that is stopping you from acting on those desires? And so he basically said, in the beginning, there was so much talk about it, then it became something he had to live up to, so it made him more anxious about it. And basically that's kind of what always happens, is all the anxieties of thinking about it. So then she suggests, she basically is be sexual, say sexual things, text each other dirty texts, and see if you can build that into something or whatever. And it's isn't that what he doesn't I don't know if I was just getting the wrong impression, but I was that's what he doesn't want to do though. So I feel he low-key got pressured. Obviously he ultimately made his own decision, but there was a little bit of pressure, not just from Becca but everyone around him, being next. It's leave the man alone, let him breathe. Then they had that meeting with Dr. Pia, I'm pretty sure is her name, I'll put it right here if I'm wrong, but they had that meeting. Then she tells them to play this obstacle game. So they blindfold each other. They put an obstacle in front of the other. If that person gets through the obstacle, they have to say something intimate. Austin starts it off with his feet are ticklish. She prompts him to say that her boobs are great. It just is altogether weird. And if I was her, I honestly would not be able to stop feeling that man was pressured into doing something with me. But in her defense, with the editing and stuff, and this being filmed over time, we don't know how much time passed from that therapist meeting to that day that they do it, because this episode ends with them he said something up in their room, and then he's we're gonna do it, and she's oh, what, and she's being all weird, and they do it, I guess, because he closes the door. But yeah, so I mean, they're good right now. I should have started with Claire and Cameron. Obviously they're separated. I'm starting to feel bad for Claire because she's really feeling bad for Cameron. And she's saying all these nice things about him. She's overall being kind. And then we get a clip of him being yeah, there's really no need for Claire to be here. So I'm just going to do this. About his surgery. Which I get it. I think he's in the grieving process of relationships, when you're just just upset. There's anger, resentment, frustration, whatever there about the person. Because obviously he wanted it to work, and she... Not that she didn't, but she was the one who wasn't romantically feeling it. So yeah, I feel bad for her because she's really trying, and I think he's trying to be kind, but I think if he doesn't want her around or feels she shouldn't be, he needs to say that and let it go. Because then you have the girls on the other side giving her advice. I know he appreciates it even if he doesn't say so. And meanwhile, he's don't want it. So it's just tell her you don't want it so she can move on. This whole being nice thing, sometimes you gotta you can nicely say or kindly say, leave me alone, Michael and Chloe, she's getting her nails done with her mom and sister or friend or whatever. She's talking about how excited she is, how she just knows that she's gonna like this person, which Michael is very likable. It's just a matter of whether they're gonna make sense with each other, or they're gonna work together. But yeah, so she's there. Michael shows up to the couples get together with his crown, saying, my last time wearing it, gonna get rid of it. In the last episode, we found out that they are not telling her that this is his second wedding. They don't want to like taint it or whatever. And I'm 50-50 because I do understand their side of it. Because even if you know that it wasn't that person's fault, you're still gonna wonder, right? Because the girl walked up, saw him and everything. So she's gonna be like, well, what does he look like? What made her say no, you know? And it might have not had anything to do with him, but it will put doubts in her mind, whether we want to admit that or not, or say that it will or not. However, she's getting married to this person. So it feels like regardless of that and how they feel about how that'll taint it for her, I still feel like she had the right to know. And I'm wondering, can she like sue them or something? I feel like you could sue them for like not giving you all the information going in. Because that could have played a factor in whether she decided to do this or not. But I guess we'll find out how, like, what effect that has. Because obviously he plans on telling her at the wedding. So that's gonna be a lot. But yeah, they both are just excited right now. In the previews, we do see though that she's starting to be like, oh shoot, what am I doing? But she's gonna do it, obviously. Lastly, we have Emily and Brennan. And we do get to see, I guess, some moments to understand why Emily is still here, I guess. But if I'm being honest, if these are the moments she's talking about when she says, like, I know he's better than that, or like, he's done better, he's been better, they are nowhere near matching all the bad things we're seeing him do, or all the negative things we're seeing them do. Like, the negative is outweighing it by miles. Yeah, so they write letters to their younger selves. He does, you know, get a little deep with it, with the letter, but it's all positive things. You know, it was a positive assignment or whatever. And so they are meeting with Dr. Pia. And once again, he's doing the same thing he was in that other episode where he's trying to like get her to stop talking or like steer the conversation away from where he doesn't want it to go. And he's like, oh, well, I'm just done with this. Oh, well, whatever. Like, oh, well, I don't want to go there. Why are we rehashing the past? And so we learn that him and Emily had an agreement that they would not speak negatively in front of the cameras about each other. Now, I don't think that Emily purposely did the opposite of that. I think they have different views of what negative is, right? So to him, negative is anything that might paint him in a negative light. It doesn't matter if she's just trying to say, like, this is the trouble we're having. If it seems like the trouble might be his fault or like he's playing a part in that trouble, he don't want her talking about it on camera. Now, what I find extremely worrisome is we get a confessional with Emily saying that he has some extreme reactions off camera. I'm already concerned with what we're seeing on camera. What is he doing off camera? Like, I picture this man just throwing chairs or something because maybe he's not throwing anything, but he's definitely verbally not being great off camera. Because basically, she nicely, very, very nicely, basically says, like, I just agree with him because it's easier, emotionally safer to just agree than to try to get him to understand her side or to disagree or oppose him. And then in the meeting, he's like, yeah, you know, like, just if you have something to say, just say it in the moment. Like, live in the moment. Say it and, you know, disagree with me. And it's like, child, listen. Now, what I do find interesting is we get him video chatting with a friend who basically is like, no, like, you need to try harder. Because he's like, well, I go to lunch with her. We have dinner. Don't you think that that's me trying? And he's like, you could go to lunch and dinner with me and I don't want to marry you. Like, what? That's not trying. And you could see in his face that he wanted to do what he'd been doing with Emily. So I'm curious as to why he didn't do it with this guy. Is it just like a toxic masculinity thing or like an alpha male thing? Because how come this dude can tell you whatever, but she says something and you shut all the way down? It makes zero sense. I honestly think they both need to cut their losses. I stand by Brennan needing therapy. He definitely needs to work through all of that. And I know we like to throw around people needing therapy a lot, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with therapy. It's not a bad thing. Like, let's stop. I don't know why the connotation is negative because, like, it does you good. I mean, we can see how good it would do him. But yeah, he needs to work on himself. He don't need to be married to nobody, not a single person. Emily, we just need her to get away from him Because in the beginning of the show, you could tell she was one of those women who was confident in herself, not just like, ooh, I'm pretty and I know it, but like in her opinions, in who she was. And now you can see that that's all shut down, and she's just like trying to be what he wants her to be. And so yeah, I just think they need to separate so she can get back to who she was, because I don't think this is good for her. This is going to be a lot to heal from in the end. But they're not going to be together. We know that. What else? Oh, interestingly too, his friend in that FaceTime chat thing, mentions how in past relationships, something would happen that would like block everything else. So everything else that's good, and he would just be like, yeah, it's done because of this thing. And so whatever it was that Emily did at that honeymoon, because when they got back from the honeymoon, that's when everything changed. Whatever that moment was, it's clear that it's like happening again. Which I'm like, oh my gosh, why do people like that get in relationships? And like, why are your friends, like this friend, are you close to him? Why didn't he say anything before you got married? Because to put somebody else through something like this, and that's the state you're in, is crazy to me. Anyways, that's all I have to say about episode 13. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like it if you did. Comment down below. I want to hear what you thought about the Austin Becca sex situation. I also want to hear what you thought about Emily and Brendan's therapy session with Dr. Pia. I've been saying Pia this whole time. Hopefully that's her name. But yeah, subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.